I mentioned Barchu. What is Barchu? Okay. What is Barchu? Why do you see Barchu sometimes? What is Barchu?
Jewish call to prayer.
Jewish call to prayer? No, it's not. No, I know. I'll ask you a question. Why does Barchu precede Mariv and Shachris, but not Musaf, Mincha, and Ne'ilah? Why is there no Barchu before Mincha? Don't tell me.
Barechu is an introduction to the Birkot Kriyat Shema.
It is? So how come I say Barchu before I read the Torah?
Uh,
Hmm.
it's for any introduction to reading the words of Torah together.
Yes. So here's how it goes. Shmuel's onto it. Barchu is what one says before saying the blessing that is before a public reading of the Torah. Barchu is, wait a minute, when I say Shema at home, I don't say Barchu. Barchu, yeah, it takes a minyan. But what does it mean? Let's look at Torah reading. One person is going to read the Torah for everybody else, right? Sometimes there's 3 aliyahs, sometimes there's up to 7, sometimes there's 54 because it's Simchas Torah, right? When is there but one person going up to the Torah? When do we have examples of Torah reading one person? Hakil and Yom Kippur, the Kohen Gadol's reading or the king's reading, right? So that's just one aliyah. And that also starts with Barchu, a bracha before the Torah reading, and a bracha or brachas afterwards, right? So too, when you get an aliyah to the Torah, Barchu, a bracha, read some of the Torah, a final bracha. When you have that one person is doing a reading on behalf of everybody else from the Torah and saying the blessings out loud for everybody, that is preceded with Barchu. Wait a minute. Is Kriyat Shema from the Torah? Technically speaking, yes. But like Chazal say in the Mishnah, because we say Shema so often, just like the Kohanim Beis Hamikdash, you don't need to take out a scroll of the Torah to read Kriyat Shema because everybody knows these 3 chapters, these 3 paragraphs by heart. But in Achinami, if it was something that with which we are not familiar on a daily basis, we would be required to take out a Sefer Torah and read it straight from there. Just like the Kohen Gadol, there's certain parts you can read out by heart, right?
Take out the Sefer Torah to show everybody. And including the ritual preceding it or after it, depending on the minhag of showing it to everybody. Is the hagbah is to show that to verify it.
Okay, yeah. So now you know what Barchu is. So that's why now I can explain why do we not Barchu before Musaf? Because there's no passage that one is reading on behalf of everybody else from the Torah as part of Musaf.
Oh.
And that's why there's no Barchu before Mincha.
We kind of mean not to do that though.
To say Barchu before Musaf?
No, just have a psukim in the middle of Musaf.
That sometimes not. The Sephardic minhag is certainly not. It's not necessary. He's not reading it to discharge other people's obligations to hear him. He's just mentioning the korban. Mincha, of course, has none of that. Also good. Okay, and Ne'ilah doesn't have that. But if there's going to be a public Torah reading, or Kriyat Shema with its brachas, and by the way, that's what really it is. When you have a minyan for Kriyat Shema, what's the chazan supposed to be doing? He's supposed to sing Shema out loud to discharge everybody. That's Poris al Shema, right? For Shmona Esrei, really, if everybody's literate, then everybody has a sitter, everybody knows every Shmona Esrei. So the chazan does not discharge our obligations. But for Kriyat Shema, it's a little bit different. Technically speaking, he discharges everybody by saying it out loud, which is kind of strange. Something I've seen only here, but this exists among other Sephardic places. They dafka have a child or children get up and say Shema out loud for everybody. That doesn't make any sense because they're children, So yeah, very very strange. But it excites them about something, so I guess it has its advantages.
Well, hold on, who's discharging others' obligation? Someone is discharged. There's one person discharging other people's obligation by reading the Shema himself. It's not the brachot; it's the Shema itself,
and the brachot also to say the brachas. The sages tacked on their obligation to say these brachas. There's a deraisa to say Shema, rabbinic add on to say the brachas. So he's discharging all of those together.
Because my understanding of this was that there would be one person who's discharging everybody for the brachot, but everyone else said Shema themselves because it was just understood that everybody could memorize 3 paragraphs.
Okay, so let's see.
Or am I
here? Okay, so that's what Porson al Shema. He says in Tefillah. This is the Iker. V'chein lo yeh echad mevarech birchok Shema v'akol shomin v'onin achrav amein ela ba'asara. This whole thing, one saying Shema out loud for everybody, and everybody's saying Amen, right? You see that? That can only be with Asara, with the minyan. And then he says in Hilchos Tefillah in the 9th parak, he introduces this. In the first halach of 9th parak, he says, right? One guy gets up there, he says Barchu, he says Kaddish and Barchu, and everybody answers in Barechu, Baruch Hashem Baruch L'Lam Umafchil for Reis al Shema b'Kol Ram, and he's Poris al Shema b'Kol Ram for everybody. V'hein onim amen achar kol bracha v'racha. Okay. V'ayodel levarech likro korimo ad shmevarech kol Yisrael. Those who know should say it with him, right?
It still implies that they're just not saying the bracha. They're still saying the Shema.
They say along with him, but the point is he's the one who's saying it for everybody out loud. Okay, that's what it is. When we do stuff in the minyan, the point is one guy's saying out loud, and everybody else is following along. So they're saying it with him, but they're saying it with him.
Yeah.
Okay. So
then children say it with. I mean, the children are saying.
But it's supposed no, but the Chazan's supposed to be one of. It says the Chazan is one of the 10. He's saying Shema out loud, and then the Chazan's quiet, and they have the child say it. So it's a little bit strange. You know, I don't like it. Whatever. I was very surprised when I first saw it, and like I said, it's a very good incentive. It incentivizes the children to want to participate in the davening. So that has, that is a major advantage. It's very difficult, as you see, sometimes to get a kid to sit down and study. How do you do that?
Child is doing really well.
You give whatever you can to there's no expenses too great to try to get the children to be excited about this.
We would like to encourage our viewers to share these videos with friends and send in your responses. If you would like to obtain Birkon Nusach Eretz Yisrael or invite the rabbi for a speaking engagement, please email us at office@machonshilo.org.